Hi, I'm Yolanda Soryl from the Christchurch Vegan Society, and I'm going to show you now how to organise a vegan cookery demonstration. I've been vegan since 1989, and over the decades I've done a lot of vegan cookery demonstrations because they're such a great way to show people how easy it is to be vegan and to get them familiar with some of the dishes that we eat and the ingredients that we use. Cookery demonstrations are really important to showcase our community and what we like to eat. So I think the most important thing when I'm organising a cookery demo is to put that time into the planning. Preparation is absolutely vital. The most important thing to plan is the recipe. So recipe selection is your top priority. You want to get the right recipe. I'd recommend you use a recipe that you know really, really well, because you don't want to, in the middle of the cookery demonstration, to be thinking, oh, what comes next, and having to read the recipe yourself. So choose one that's really familiar. Think about the ingredients in it. You want to have ingredients that are familiar. Have one or two maybe that are different or unusual, but you don't want it too complex, because your aim is for people to think, yeah, I can do this at home. The same with the techniques in the recipe. You don't want something that's massively complex unless you're doing it just for entertainment, because again, you want it to be something that people will feel like they can try at home themselves. If you've got the recipe from a cookbook, take the cookbook with you to the demonstration and show people where you got your recipe from. I also think about the teaching points I want to make with the recipe. So there's at least two I'll be thinking of. Something to do with nutrition, maybe. Some kind of story about the recipe, why I chose it or a time I ate it. You know, the human brain is wired for story. So when you tell a story about the dish as you demonstrate it, people are far more likely to remember the recipe and to feel they made a connection with that dish. And so again, they're going to want to try it at home. I personally don't use fake vegan ingredients when I do a cookery demo. I mean, at home, I might use fake eggs or vegan cheese, but not in a cookery demonstration, because I don't want my non-vegan audience member going home and thinking, oh, I'll just do that recipe with dairy cheese or eggs from chickens, because then I'm just like promoting that industry. And anyway, there's a massive amount of recipes that are plant-based, so you don't need to use those ingredients, I think. The final thing is just to always be aware that it must be a recipe that you think people will try at home. So going to the preparation, I print out the recipe that I'm going to use, and I do it, as you can see, in really big font. And that's because if I have a brain freeze in the middle of the demonstration, my eyes can really quickly see, because it's big print, what the next step is. And then I make two headings in pen or pencil. One is about the teaching points I'm going to make, you know, so about like the nutrition or the ingredients or the story I'm going to tell. And then I make a list about the equipment that I'm going to need to take to the venue with me. And never assume that your venue has anything. You know, it may not even have a can opener. So I list everything I'm going to take. So when I'm packing the box of the ingredients to take to the venue for the demo, I've just got everything ready there as well. So I list them there, and I'm going to have them beside me when I'm doing the cookery demo. In terms of the equipment you're going to use, if you have them, try and go for glass or see-through bowls to arrange your ingredients, because then people can see through them. Use wooden spoons rather than metal spoons, because metal on metal is very loud and you don't want the clinking of the metal to distract the audience. Thinking about the actual demonstration itself, you know, you really want to present quite professionally, and one thing the audience will be really aware of is your hygiene. So kind of have your hair off your face, clean fingernails. I often put an apron on at the start of the recipe demonstration. It's like taking on a role, but also again it says that, you know, I'm getting clean for the demonstration. I normally start by introducing myself, you know, say your name and the organisation you're from if you want to. I also state at the beginning how I want the questions. So I might say, oh, feel free to ask me questions throughout, or hey, can you ask me questions at the end, or come up to me at the end. So if you state that at the start, people are normally really respectful. So if you're worried that you'll be distracted, it's really easy to be distracted when you get questions, just say, ask me at the end. What else do you need to think about? You probably need to think about your ingredients. And if you look here, you can see I have a tray that, this is how I've prepared for this particular cookery demonstration that I'm going to do. So I keep my recipe sheet on top of the tray. I have one tray per recipe. So if I'm doing a big event, maybe I'm doing 8 different dishes, I have 8 trays all lined up, each with the recipe sitting on top and everything I'm going to particularly need for the demonstration. Don't forget, as you go through the demonstration, to show the contents of the bowl by, tipping to the side so the audience can see. Talk about the smells and the flavours and the textures, any interesting pieces of equipment. I might want to talk about like how you buy the red lentils, for example, even though I've actually got them pre-measured. And almost everything really does need to be pre-measured and chopped up, because if you are going to stand there and chop your ingredients and prepare everything in front of the audience, your recipe is going to take like 20-25 minutes and people are going to get bored. So unless you are particularly wanting to show them how to chop an onion, I always have mine ready. And then I'll end the cookery demonstration by inviting people to come up, have a wee test or a taste of it. So you really will want to have one that you've prepared earlier, because one, you never know what's going to happen in a cookery demo. Things go wrong and then you've got nothing to give the audience. The other thing is that sometimes the recipes will take like 20-30 minutes, an hour, and people aren't going to be waiting for their taste. So you have that ready, and I have a bowl of teaspoons or spoons, and people come up, take a spoon, dip it in the bowl and get to try it, and then it goes in the sink, and that's really hygienic. So I think that is me ready for my cookery demo. I've thought through my recipe, I know what I'm going to say, I've got everything ready to go, so now I just have to deliver the recipe.